Hello, Jenny Funkmeyer here with my friend Sophia Zoe Müller, and we met on in Berlin in Synchronicity Freestyle Travel, and we want to talk to you about what this concept is, traveling free, in freedom, without a plan, just go, and magical things just happens. So yeah, what is it to you, Synchronicity Freestyle Travel?
It happened to me without even knowing that it happened. And when I was traveling the first time after school, I went to India for half a year. And that happened a lot, and I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was lucky and stuff.
So what happened? Like,
for example,
traveling without planning.
I went alone, and I had the feeling from the beginning that I have to go alone.
Yeah. So the first thing about freestyle travel is you have to go alone. Yeah, right? Because somehow, being alone, you're kind of in the world, and magical things just happen.
Yeah, because if you're with somebody else, and you're like constantly in that bubble of what is the other person expecting, and like talking, and then you're like all in the mind and all in the logic, and you don't let loose. And I found out that the best things happened when I let loose of control, like really
lose control. It's just like
sometimes even after I had like a crisis or something, being like, oh, what is this, and why am I here, and why am I doing it like this? It doesn't make sense. And then some days later,
it makes sense.
Some magic kind of happened. And it was in the best place, and I wouldn't have come there if I would have made plans. Just then.
So I want to hear you talk about India, but the first time I saw Synchronicity Freestyle Travel, traveling alone without plan, was Otis. My husband Otis, he, the voice in his head, who he calls his guidance, tells him to go to Bali. And he's like, where is Bali?
It's really like a voice in your head.
Yeah, it's like, what? Am I just going to go? And he went. He doesn't know anything about Bali. He did not do any research before he went. He only has a one-way ticket there. He went without any clothing, without any money, without his glasses. And before he left, he said, I am not going to sleep on the street. I'm going to eat all raw, and I will only come back when I am when I live like a king. So I said, good luck, sucker, you know. So I saw him off on the airplane. I gave him a bag of nuts. That's all he has, with one backpack, no credit card, no phone. He didn't bring his iPhone, didn't bring a computer. No, he brought his iPhone, but he didn't bring a computer. And on an airplane there, he met a guy who who said, oh, I have a friend that was going to come with me, but this friend didn't come. So he said, why don't you stay with me? And so he got lodging for a month. Just go in the place, in a beautiful place. And then he they went to eat, and they met this lady who has this restaurant, and this is Bali, right? It's like beautiful. And she grows all her food, raw food, and so he is eating 100% raw, and he asked him, would you teach my staff English? And she said, okay. So he's got free food, free lodging, just like that, just by going. And then he ended up in a 3-story mansion and living like a king. So it was totally without plan. Every day was just synchronicity. Every day was just going to different places. And then, okay, tell me about you going to India. What happened? You didn't plan.
I didn't plan. Not at all.
You just decided to go alone.
And it was just after my A-levels, and I also had kind of this voice in my head, I guess. I was like, there has to be, like, I grew up in a small village in south of Germany, and I always had the feeling, I don't know, there has to be more.
Yeah.
And this can't be it, kind of.
Yeah.
And I wanted to really go somewhere different, and not just to, I don't know, Italy. So
from Germany.
Like a different mindset. And I could only speak English besides German, so I figured India is a good idea. Speak English. And did I have a return ticket? I think I did, but I cancelled it later. And I had no plans. I just had my flight to Delhi. And even on the airport I changed plans and went from Delhi, because it was so crowded, the city. I arrived on Gandhi's birthday and it was all stressy. I went straight to Kashmir. And there was a travel warning out. And I don't know, I just did it.
You went anyway, it's like,
and I was alone in Kashmir. And stuff just happened. I met people on the street. I was sitting on the grass in front of a mosque, and I got invited to the family's home, and they were like so warm and so friendly, and brought their kids home from school, like, we have a visitor from Germany, come home, we're having tea and cookies, kind of. And
wow.
Like, then I had a plan to see the Tibetan exile, and I wanted to stay for 4 days, was my plan. I came there and stuff happened, and I met amazing people, and I had, like, after I had a crisis in Kashmir, kind of like being a bit homesick and being like, why am I doing this alone? And why do I always have to do stuff alone? And I could spend money and just be secured in a nice hotel, but I don't know. I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
And then in McLeodganj, this is where the Tibetan exile is in India, I met so amazing people and just had that, just standing in the mountains under the stars and the Dalai Lama being there in the morning. And then also, I arrived in the middle of the night and was thrown out by the jeep that I hitchhiked there. And there were dogs barking, nobody on the streets, every hotel closed, of course. But I had the Lonely Planet, and there was something about a monastery down the stairs, and I was like, So I went down, and I ended up, like, really 2 o'clock in the morning. This monastery, like, down 500 stairs with my heavy backpack. And I stood there, and the dogs were barking because I was disturbing them. This monk woke up and saw me standing there and brought out a mattress and some pillows and a blanket.
Wow.
And then I was sleeping under the stars in the monastery for my first night, and the dogs came cuddling.
Oh, cuddling.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was like and then on the next morning I met one of my best friends on the travel. She was also staying there, and it was just one of those moments when you feel everything is right. Like later on I read Hermann Hesse, and he has this...
Siddhartha?
No, it was Der Steppenwolf.
Which is...
wolf, desert wolf? I don't know.
Desert wolf. Yeah.
Is it called desert wolf?
Right. Yes, but...
And he has this picture...
Anyway, I don't know the book, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's super beautiful, and he has this picture of that sometimes when you feel that you're on the right track, kind of.
Yeah.
It feels like this golden... Like... What is the thing called that you sew with? Like a golden little...
Golden thread?
Yeah, golden thread.
It's like a golden thread.
Yeah, and sometimes you see it. It's like the thread of your life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen if in like so normal every day. Not hot, not cold, but like okay kind of mood. But it happens more in the extreme. So when you go after your passion.
Your passion.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And that was one of those moments.
So true. Yeah. Somehow I feel like when you travel without a plan, you allow this magic to happen.
Yeah.
You meet people just out of the blue without without
something
any,
else. I never believed in the bigger thing. I was always very like scientific, but somehow in that mode something else takes over and everything is like organized in a perfect way that you couldn't plan for, because why would you think of meeting the people you wanted to meet but you didn't know them before?
Don't even know who they are, but somehow you would meet them. So almost seems like when you travel without a plan like that, there's like a higher order of things. That's why synchronicity is things being arranged in a higher level. Almost like
it's how we met.
Not right.
Also over orders.
Right. Not how scheduling or planning, which is using our own mind, but synchronicity is almost using a broader, open mind.
Something would see the big picture and be like, oh.
Right. Oh, and then just put people together. And when you're on travel, it's easy to do that. Easier to do that than in your life, because in life you're like,
everybody is kind of running on a schedule plan, and you're in your everyday mode.
Everyday mode too, but then when you go travel, you're able to break through. So traveling is an ideal time to do that.
When festivals, that was the second time I experienced it. Yeah. Because when I came back, and then actually I didn't travel so much all the time among, because I was also going to university after I came back from India. But at some point I started going to festivals for like electronic music and stuff. And there it would happen to me again.
Yeah, without planning.
Exactly.
You just go in.
You just go.
Do whatever.
And you meet crazy people in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Exactly the right people, and things where you go like, are you kidding me? This can't be true. Like,
just like, wow.
And so I called it festival mode, and I told everybody, going to festivals is a lot like traveling, because it has this magic happening in the moment when you let loose of control. And I really compared the two a lot until I found out what the underlying principles kind of were, just letting loose. And also I think it
the underlying principle of letting loose.
And that you have a lot of people doing the same thing. Traveling, you have a lot of people who are like out of their everyday order and without or like not so closely bound to logic, reason, and scheduling. And on a festival it's the same. So it's easier to have this magic happen.
So the way we met was on the Synchronicity Freestyle Travel. Was so random. Again, Otis met Sophia's dad in Berlin on the street.
Was it in the street or like a US?
They both took this yoga class, and it was a random class that it wasn't a regular class your dad goes to. And Otis and I, of course, we were on Synchronicity Freestyle Travel. We were actually traveling from, we bought a ticket to, I think we fly into, I forgot where, say Paris or something, and then we also have a 2-3 months later we have a return ticket from Paris. But then in between we had no plan at all, so we would just go from city to city, and we will stay for as long as we think it's right. Like we won't know. We suddenly will say, oh, it's time to go, and then we will leave. Or where should we go next? Well, what about, and then we'll just go. So so we ended up in Berlin, and wow, I love Berlin. Berlin is an amazing, beautiful city. I love Berlin. So and Otis goes to this random yoga class, and then your dad was there, and then they started talking. We would at that time staying with a couch surfing people, and so we did not have any place to stay after that, after like a few days, 2-3 days. So that day they met, and then your dad is staying in your apartment?
And it's the apartment of a friend, actually.
Your friend.
Who went to Portugal for surfing and had like, he was born in Berlin and had this really old, cheap renting contract for this really nice one-room apartment in the middle of the city.
In the middle of the city, Kreuzberg.
Yeah, and I got my dad to rent it while my friend was in Portugal, because he was working outside of the city as a psychiatrist, and
your dad.
My dad, and was a bit isolated, and I saw him being there alone, and I was like, hey, you should really get a little room for the weekend so you can be in the city and go to yoga and not be totally alone in the forest out there.
Right.
And so he did that, and then the place was empty during the week, of course, which is kind of a waste.
Right.
And then he met Otis.
He met Otis, and then he said, well, you know what, during the week you guys can stay in my apartment while I work out of town. And this apartment actually belongs to my daughter's friend who went surfing. So we were like, well, okay, you know, that's great. And so we were going to just stay for the weekday.
Yeah.
And then he would come for the weekend, and then we would leave. But he didn't come for the weekend. He said, oh, you can stay. And then we just fell in love with Berlin so hard that we just kept staying and staying.
The place is so nice.
And the place was so nice.
It's small, but it has also some...
It has everything, and it was in the middle of the city, in Kreuzberg. It's like full of artists, and the next to the subway station, and it was just we just totally fell in love with the place, and we had no idea how long we were going to stay, where we were going to stay, but everything worked out completely.
And we went to dinner.
No, and then we met at dinner, and just once.
Just once. And we became Facebook friends, I think.
Yeah, well, not really. I wasn't on Facebook.
But like Facebook. That's how I had your contact.
That's how you have my contact, but no, we never really. We never talked again, just that one time.
Exactly.
And then you decide to...
But the bike also.
The bike, yes.
The bike that you left.
I bought a bike for Berlin, because I love riding bike. Everybody rides bikes there. And I called my bike Penny.
And I didn't know that.
And then when I left,
and you said at dinner, we have this bike left. Do you maybe need one?
Yeah.
And like 2 days before, a friend of mine, whose name is Penny,
also named Penny, and I don't know this lady's
said,
name.
I need a bike. And so I said at dinner with you, and you were like, I have this bike left. Do you need one? I was like, no, but a friend of mine needs one. If you want to leave it, that would be amazing.
Right.
And so you left it with a nice little letter saying, hey, this is our bike. It was nice to meet you. The bike's name is Penny. And I was like, what? I wanted to give it to Penny.
And then the bike went to Penny.
Yeah.
So hopefully one day we'll come back to Berlin and then ride with Penny again.
Could totally be.
Right, and we won't know when we will come back to Berlin, because we will again be in Synchronicity Freestyle travel again.
When was it actually? Like 3 or 4 years ago? I think.
3-4 years ago. Yeah.
And a lot happened to me, and like I've been working like crazy for the last 2 years, and I felt, whoa, at some point I have to travel again, like really travel, which means like more than a month and on my own, and so everything kind of also fell into place again during the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And there was this gap, and I was like, okay, where do I go?
And
everybody kind of, I don't know, goes backpacking to Thailand and Vietnam and South America because it's cheap, and I don't know, everybody goes there, it makes sense. And I felt, I want to go to America. And my head was like, are you crazy with Trump, and it's so expensive and all this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, and I have this funny friends in LA, this couple from that stayed in my dad's place, and another crazy friend, also a Synchronicity meeting. Yeah. Jeremiah, who now is in Austin, but maybe I will meet him in Oregon.
Oh, right.
The guy with the beard.
So anyway, you came, and you're staying with me, and you don't know where you're going, when you're going to travel in America. You just know you have this 3 months. You didn't even answer
before, and then I just bought the ticket anyway. And you didn't see the message until after I bought the ticket. I was like, okay.
So you just bought the ticket blind.
Totally.
You don't know where you're going to stay, you don't know what you're going to do, you just buy the ticket.
Yeah, and I kind of know I'm not going to stay in a hotel because I never do that, kind of. And then, like 2 weeks before I came, you replied, like, yeah, of course, you can stay here.
You can stay here. Yeah. But so, right now, and then you came, you're staying with me right now, and you have no idea where you're going to go and when you're going to go, what you're going to do.
No.
Yeah, you might.
It happens, and now I'm going to San Diego for the weekend.
You're going to, because you
met someone,
lady
that
friend.
I would have not talked to in Berlin, because she's like not from my, I don't know, kind of tribe of friends that I have in Berlin. More like a lady, and like this. She's amazing, but just kind of a different world a bit. But I went to a meetup, and meetup is amazing too. I just discovered the meetup platform like a year ago or something.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Otis, like I was here.
Right. Otis was there
with the yoga class.
Meetup too. Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah, just doing what you love.
Yeah.
Going after your passion. So I went to this tiny house meetup, and then another one about MDMA assisted psychotherapy, like a MAPS event, very interesting. And I met this lady there, and now she has a place in San Diego for the weekend, and she was supposed to go anywhere, and there's a second bed.
So she invites you.
Exactly.
And there you go.
And then,
So it's just like you just meet people. Things just happen. I did that in Europe. I went for 4 months, completely without. I bought a ticket, and I arrived in London, I think. I arrived in Paris, and then I don't think I have a return ticket actually, but unlike Otis, who went to Bali without money, I have money, and I have my credit card, so I know, whatever, if things really go wrong, I could still, just like rescue myself. But still, I did not book any hotels. I have no idea what I'm going to do after I arrived in London, and I went alone. Synchronicity freestyle travel is best done alone. Yeah.
I mean, it would be great if you could master also doing it not alone. But
I did that with Otis together once,
Did it work as well, or was it more complicated?
Well, because Otis and I are kind of linked together, and we are kind of synchronicity people, so we can move as a unit. We don't know what, in fact, during the day, we don't even know what we're going to do, and sometimes he would do something and I would do something, and it will be completely different, and we don't meet again until nighttime, and then sometimes we don't know where we're going to stay, or when, what's the next town, like that. So anyway, for my Europeans 4 months, I arrived in London, and then I came out, and then my guidance said, keep going. So so I went from Paris to Geneva. Anyway, I ended up in the Swiss Alps, just walking in the Swiss Alps.
Wow.
Barefoot, without shoes, in July. So it's amazingly beautiful. It's like heaven on earth. There's like this waterfall just from the melting snow. I mean, it's like alpine water, And all I had was this little cup that I ate a yogurt, and then I just ended up with this cup without a cover. So every time I'm thirsty, I would just walk by a spring and just get this alpine water and just drink it. It's ice cold. And I would just walk. And in the Swiss Alps, they have, this is by, and they have these very well marked paths. So I just walk on the path, and it will just like something will magically happen. There will be like a house, they call it house. The Swiss government had these houses in different places that you can just camp. and also I would like walk into a tiny little town. I don't even know what name it is. I would just walk in town, and then I would load up in Swiss chocolate. Would, you know, get some groceries and then walk back again. And I end up in a place that that I stayed for 3-4 days. And yeah, it was just totally magical, totally magical. And then I continued that, and I went to the crop circles in England. I met amazing people. This every day was just up to whatever that could happen. And it really works. It really works. Just jump off the cliff and just do it.
Yeah, I had 2 amazing things happening when I also didn't really know where to sleep or to stay. One was also London, and it was a bit similar. I had a couch surfing, and the guy was kind of hitting on me, and I was like, would be better to stay somewhere else.
Yeah.
And like he wasn't rude or too much, just not the best feeling.
Yeah.
And I wandered through Notting Hill, and I love taking pictures. Like I started taking pictures in India, and at some point I even studied photography.
You're such a good photographer.
So now
you're an amazing photographer.
I kind of am, yeah.
Yeah.
Like taking pictures for a living now.
Wow.
But I didn't know back then, and I was just going around the streets of Notting Hill, and there was this beautiful house.
And Notting Hills is like this super duper expensive area, right?
Romantic, beautiful, like.
Yeah, they have a movie, Notting
Hill.
Yeah.
And there was a beautiful white house with a olive tree or something, and it was making this amazing shadow pattern on the house, and I took a picture because it was like evening light and super nice, interesting pattern. And this guy looks out of the window. And I was like, oh, sorry, I was just taking a picture because it looked so nice. And he was like, oh, wow. Let me see the picture. I'm a photographer. And like I thought he would be pissed because I was like,
you take a picture of his house?
In his garden, kind of.
Yeah, in his garden,
yeah. Almost. And he came down, and we talked, and he was sitting in the window doing something, and he was like, yeah, you know, I was, he had invited me, and we had a drink, and then I told him my story, kind of, and he said, you know, I'm working under the week and my apartment is empty. Why don't you stay? It's no problem. And that's no good if you don't feel good with the guy you're couch surfing, and just be there. You can have an extra key.
Wow. And so you end up
with a whole apartment in Notting Hill.
In Notting Hill.
And a key to this beautiful house that I was admiring, walking by, and I was like, wow, I would love to live there. And then I was like, 2 hours later, I had the key. I was like, okay.
Things just happen. Yeah. Huh? Wow. Wow.
And then, funny thing, like, I don't know, 5 years later in Berlin, when I started going to festivals and then also clubs in Berlin. I wasn't doing that back then when I met him in London. But then I went to this club, and like, also with festival mode, I kind of always meet the people behind the scenes, and so I knew everybody there, and so I had like guest list, and I went in through the special entrance for the guest list that you don't have to stay in the line, and the line was super long. And when I went in, the bouncers were discussing if they would leave that guy who was in the normal line in, and suddenly I recognized his face, and it was the guy from Notting Hill. And
wow, the guy who gave you the house.
Yeah, like 5 years later in Berlin in some random club. And the bouncers were like, shall we let this guy in? And I was like, yes!
Let this guy in.
Let him in, he's amazing, he helped me out so much.
Yeah.
And then they let him in.
They let him in, and then
I haven't seen him again.
You haven't seen him again. No. So how amazing is that? Right? Yeah. 5 years ago, he gave you his apartment to stay in London. And then 5 years, like, you lost track of him. Totally. 5 years later, you meet him again in the club. You got him in.
Yeah, at the door, and I haven't seen him inside.
And then you didn't see him inside.
No.
You didn't ever see him again.
No.
It was like almost like there's something that in Synchronicity that it needs to be completed or something.
Yeah, or maybe it gets completed another way, but this one was really funny. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That I was there at this second.
Right. That is incredible.
That was funny.
So we highly recommend traveling like that. In fact, I think only traveling like that, since I've traveled like that many times now, I don't think I would ever travel again with
book a all-inclusive hotel.
Yeah, book hotel, book tours, so, you know, like have everything under control and read books about the place. That's how I used to travel before I heard, you know, my first time was hearing Otis going, you know. Like I always read up, research, book hotels, book passageway, maybe even buy a tour, have ideas what I'm going to do, like plan out the whole thing. But that way of travel just completely went out the door since like 10 years now. I haven't traveled
I never
like
traveled
that.
like that. Like
You
only
never
with
traveled like
my
that?
family. I don't know why. It just came to me that I was like, when I went to the Canarian Islands, I wanted to go with my boyfriend, but then we broke up, so I ended up going alone. And I arrived at the island with my expensive camera. By then I had a camera. Yeah. Like a really good one. And I found out kind of for myself that I had the challenge to myself to not sleep in a hotel, to not spend any money for like sleeping somewhere.
Wow.
And I stood there with my big bag and my expensive camera on the street. I had not done any research. And I was like, oh man.
Oh man.
How should this work? And so I actually ended up like really, I felt like a homeless person because I went to the city and was like, okay, where could I sleep? Maybe this bench in this park, maybe not so secure. And then I walked to the beach and ended up finding a nice, safe little place up the mountain, up the hill from the beach. So I camped up there kind of. And the second night I think I went closer to the city even. And I went to an internet coffee. Because also I had no internet. I like to travel without phone and computer. Mostly. And so I got talking to the internet coffee guy, and he was going crazy that I was staying on the street kind of. And one night I was sleeping in the internet coffee, and then he brought me to like a homeless shelter because I talked to somebody and they said, oh, it's all empty and there are a lot of beds, and she can sleep there because he had the urge to help me, to rescue me kind of. And I was like, I'm all good, I'm happy at the beach. But he did, and I felt a bit guilty because I knew I had the money kind of. I was like, why would I stay in a homeless shelter? Maybe I'm taking somebody else's place. But it was really almost empty. But I had kind of a low, because also the energy there was kind of low and the people were sitting in front of the TV the whole time, although the beach was like 50 meters down the street. But I was like kind of just surrendering in the moment, and I was like, okay, whatever. Went out and took some pictures, and again taking a picture of a house, and the guy looks out and was like, again, have you just whistled? And I was like, no, I didn't, I was just taking a picture of your beautiful house. And he was like, oh yeah, well, would you like some pancakes? Like, yes. And the house looked normal, but I went in for pancakes, and it turns out it was a squat.
Was a what?
A squat. So it was an empty house, and there were this like hippie
these
people
squatting there.
They squatted it. Made it beautiful.
A
Had like a rooftop garden.
Wow.
With a bed my new bed on the rooftop garden.
Wow! And so you just stayed with them?
Exactly.
Wow.
And they had more people they connected me to, and then everything started from there. Kind of.
Wow. And you had a bed in the rooftop garden?
Yeah. I was like, this. Because also I kind of didn't want to stay inside.
Yeah.
But then I was...
Yeah.
It was the perfect upgrade from my beach and all the amazing people with also travelers and...
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Now, I forgot where it was. I think I was hiking in... I don't quite remember where it is. I just remember the incident. I think it's Colorado. Anyway, I had no idea where I'm going to stay, what I'm doing, and I'm hiking, and anyway, I walk up to this huge, beautiful house, and it just looks completely empty. But I look in, and it was really beautifully decorated. It's kind of like a Buddhist retreat or something. It's got Buddhist painting, and just like it's just like sitting there all by itself. And I did not have any place to stay that night, so I thought maybe I'll just like go in and stay in there. And some guy came out, and I'm like, I'm just like scooping around, looking in from the windows. And he came out, and he said, well, yeah. So I said, well, I don't have any place to stay. And I was walking, and he said, oh, you can stay here. I said, really? He said, yeah, I'm leaving, but you can stay here.
Wow.
I said, it turned out that it's a Buddhist retreat that people just come to stay.
Wow.
I guess you have to book or something.
Yeah, normally probably.
Well, normally you have to book, but no one is like checking or anything. So this guy, I don't even know, like we didn't talk for more than like 2-3 minutes. And just to exchange information.
And he left you with the keys, or?
There was no keys.
It was just open.
It was just open. Apparently people can come, they book it, they come and they just stay and then they go. There was no one taking care of the place at that moment.
Wow.
So this guy left, and I went in, and it was completely empty, and it was beautiful. There was heat, and there was hot water, cold water. There was beautiful kitchen, and I had some food with me. And
where was that? Colorado.
It's Colorado. I don't remember where it is. I just remember that incident, and I remember I was just there all by myself in this retreat house. And then a few days later, I decided to leave, and I thanked the house. I went all around thanking all the Buddha statues and all the beautiful. I slept in a very nice futon bed by myself, but it was kind of lonely. There was no one there, and it was just so I decided to leave. Right, it feels really lonely, and it's like out. So I left. I thanked the house, and then left and closed the door, and it was like totally magical.
Yeah.
That just the entire thing seems like a dream.
Yeah, that also happened to me. That you're like, how did this happen? How did I come here? It's like,
how did this happen to me? Yeah, when I feel like when I actually let go, things just magical things just happen, just like that. So anyway,
you also had those moments where you, like in your 4 months in Europe, where you questioned the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you were like,
oh my God.
Why? Yeah. And how?
Yeah. The mind just goes crazy because the unknown is very scary to the head. So doubts come up, fear comes up, sadness comes up, anger comes up, the wanting regular life back comes up, wanting scheduling, roping for the known.
The known people and the known.
Yeah. So it's like to deal with all that too is really important.
Yeah.
The going free every day, not knowing where you're going, makes you have to deal with these emotions.
And also see what you do if you're not in your everyday bubble, kind of, because you can totally reinvent yourself when you go alone and let loose, and then you kind of find out what is really important, or like what comes up from the inside if you just let it like rise naturally
and but it's never easy, and it's not unknown is not a very comfortable place to be. So I understand why you know that we grope for the known, because I feel like
comfort zone. It's called comfort zone for a reason.
Right. It's called cold comfort. You know, it's really.
But it's not growing. Like there's no growing in your comfort zone.
The being scared of the unknown is it's a really big thing, and to really confront it, it's hard to confront it in regular life, right? Because you're like living life. So on traveling, it's the best time to do it, because I mean, how can you can't even really go wrong. You know you are traveling, and you just open up for whatever
it's kind
happens.
of like in this time I feel like some other version of me kind of prepared this for myself, like kind of make
That's
the way free
concept,
of kind of making the 3 months possible. And now I'm here like, wow, I really managed to have
a nice
3 months without any nothing where I have to be, or nothing that I have to take care of, nothing where I have to say, oh, I have to earn some money, or like I'm just I kind of got myself the freedom to see what happens. Right.
So but that's do you feel sometimes like you want, you know, some kind of structure?
Sometimes like in the first days or weeks, I was really like, okay, maybe should I go faster? Should I? I'm not doing anything really. Like not even during the daytime. I was staying here a lot because the place is so beautiful. Really. But then at the same time, sometimes I was questioning myself. I haven't even seen the beach yet. I'm here since a week, kind of. What's going on? Or I haven't been to the museum. Am I lazy? Why am I not doing this and that? And then
so it's all thoughts.
And then I'm like, no,
thoughts in your head. You criticizing yourself.
It's all good, and you just
self-attack.
Stand up and see what comes up, and like sometimes you have these moments where it really switches, when you stand up and you're just like, wow, it's so high energy and so grateful, and just like another day in paradise, like not exaggeration, like really feeling that, and just standing there looking at the fig tree and being like and then there's no need for going to see that museum and that beach, and then kind of at some point I was at the beach. Maya drove me there.
Somehow you
some
end up
days
there
later,
anyway.
I'm like, okay, this is the beach, but it's not that I would have needed it. And that yesterday I went sailing because I met some other people at the meetup who had a boat, and then we went sailing, and then I went swimming, and then the dolphins came, and the sunset and everything.
Just beautiful.
Amazing.
Just beauty. Just beauty.
And so I feel the relaxation in the beginning was necessary to get myself kind of detoxed from my Berlin working stress mode. Because I've been working there kind of sometimes 80 or 100 hours a week. Like that was the most intense.
Wow.
And so I think it was necessary. And my body was kind of, you're not going to the museum. You need to
just relax.
Calm down.
So the calming down and the relaxation makes you get in tune with who you are and who you are, then synchronicity can happen.
Yeah.
If you are not, if you're blocking, if you're not acting like yourself, you're actually blocking synchronicity happen for you because you're not you. Yeah. So synchronicity cannot find you if you're not truthfully yourself. Yeah. So I think the relaxing to get back into who you actually are is so important for synchronicity to actually happen. Yeah, and when it happens, it's just absolutely magical.
It is. And sometimes you don't really realize until afterwards when you tell the story to your friends or yourself, like from the outside perspective looking at it.
And then you're like, wow, that is magical. Yeah. That is totally magical. Totally. Yeah, awesome. So on this note, thank you for listening and see you. Hope you go to do your synchronicity freestyle travel. Just go. Just if you have a place you want to go,
go.
You owe it to yourself to go, 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 go.